Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I'm going to give my final verdict on the Rock Crawler versus BZT-70 tank comparison. As some of you will know, I played an entire stream of alternating between the BZT and the Rock Crawler, one after the other, back and forth, just to have a very live experience of both tanks, not at the same time obviously, but back to back. You get that feeling of, okay, this is what this one can do, this is okay, I can't do that in this one, oh this one can do that, oh that one, okay. You get that nice comparison, you get a feel for the tank. And I think I streamed for about 2 hours, so I had solid 2 hours of back and forth, and after that time playing, I can say, and for myself, this isn't, I'm not saying that either of these tanks are better than the other for you, but for me, the Rock Crawler is my choice. Any day of the week, I would take the Rock Crawler. The reload for the BZT, I believe it's something like 13.8 seconds. The Rock Crawler, with my crew and equipment, I've got it down, so we'll take a look here, 17.6. So no, I think it's more like 14 for the BZT. Anyway, this thing, the Rock Crawler, is 4.5 seconds slower. That sounds like a lot. That can be a lot in game, but for me, I would rather take the slower reload than have the limitations that the BZT has. The BZT is not a bad tank by any stretch. It really is not a bad tank. I can't fault it all that much, other than saying it is slow, and that's where I feel it falls down when compared to the Rock Crawler. The Rock Crawler it's more maneuverable, it's faster, it can get to places quicker. One thing that the BZT has going against it is its speed. You can't start a battle and say, right, I'm going to play the flank that I like playing. I had this on stream where I spawned on the left-hand side of the southern spawn of Westfield. I spawned on the left-hand side near, I think it's the 0 line. And that basically meant, well, I've got to play the 0 line because I'm too slow to go up the other hill to the more open area field, the open field on the other side of Westfield. Decisions are made for you in the BZT. You can't just play it wherever you want. And some people like that. I mean, that's a far more World War II heavy approach to the game, which, you know, that if that's what you like, if that's what you're into, then absolutely fine. You know, if the BZT works for you, then great, that's fantastic. But for me, the Rock Crawler just works that little bit better, because I can play the Rock Crawler a lot more flexibly. The maps have to be on your side in the BZT, and I have had games where you just get caught out. You don't have the cover in the if you don't have the cover in the BZT, your sides are very vulnerable, and you can be flanked. If you don't have cover, you'll be shot at in the side, especially by the Weasel 1. That thing will shred the side of a BZT. So you're not really safe. You do have better frontal armor in the BZT over the Rock Crawler, but it's one of those. I would rather trade the armor for the maneuverability than, well, the other way around, really. And that's one of the many reasons why I prefer the Rock Crawler over the BZT. And this game right here, I've chosen this game because I feel it demonstrates, for me, it demonstrates why I feel the Rock Crawler is better. My team is down 3-5, and I believe there are 2 ELCs left on my team, so one of them isn't even with me. He's down in G0. The other guy is sitting up in A3, so he's probably reloading. I am being harassed non-stop here. And this is one of those games where I'm really thankful for the minimum arm distance on the ATGMs, because I thought to myself, if I leave this position, I'm giving them the range that they need. And I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to sit in this area of the map They have to come to me. And fortunately, they do. High explosive, yeah. High explosive on lightly armored tanks is, you know, theoretically, that's what you should be doing. But there's just as much, well, I'd say there's actually more. There's more track to these tanks than there is actual, you know, turret and hull. And high explosive in this game, if you shoot a track, it doesn't do maximum damage. In this thing, with the rounds I'm firing, my max alpha is 1650 and I'm rolling for 700. At this point, hindsight tells me, you know, I should have put armor piercing in. Again, 797, I think that was. I should have put armor piercing in. I would have been doing 1100, 1200, and he'd be dead. But hey, hindsight is 2020. But nevertheless, the maneuverability that I had there to keep up with the ELCs around me, I find it hard to believe that the BZT would have been able to do that. I think those ELCs could have very easily sat behind me or gotten around me or whatever you want to say about it. I don't feel as in control in the BZT as I do in the rock crawler. And that for me means a lot. I did mention the ammunition at the start. BZT, I believe it's got armor piercing, heat, and high explosive. Heat is somewhat negated in Era 2 because of the spaced armor that's everywhere, that's on most tanks. So that means you're stuck with armor piercing and high explosive, which almost every other tank in the game, you know, that's okay. Yeah, everyone else has got armor piercing and high explosive. Yeah, nothing special. I like the fact that there's a variation with the rock crawler. You've got the... Ooh, let's have a look at the stats of the rock crawler. So you've got the 1150 alpha armor piercing. You've got the 1450 Hesh. And then you've got the 1650 high explosive. So the rock crawler, it's almost like you've got this buffet of ammunition in front of you. RNG saving that T10 there. You've got this buffet of ammunition in front of you, and you get it. You can see an engagement coming in the near future. You can see a tank coming towards you, and you can think, okay, armor piercing. Yeah, I could, but the Hesh has only got 50 mil less and 90 mil less penetration. So could I roll for a Hesh? Yeah, I could. So you've got that going on in your head, and then another target shows up, and it's like, oh, okay, that's a Marder coming straight at me. I can put the high explosive in, and I could possibly whack him for his, you know, 1700 alpha plus. You've got that extra bit of conversation going on in your head with the rock, or at least I do anyway. I've got that extra bit of thinking to do, extra thought, and I really like it for that reason. And here we are, back end of the T10B, and he's done. So there you go, guys. The rock crawler. If it's versus the BZT, if I had to pick one, if you forced me to, I would pick the rock crawler. There's the MVP with 5 kills, just over 7,500 damage. That's a good game. I enjoyed that game. And Ricky, 3rd place, quick shot. Nice one. GG, well played. So there you go, guys. Rock crawler takes my top spot. And that is all I've got for this video, guys. So if you've enjoyed it, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.